Okay, it's recording to
Is
the
this
cloud.
better?
And let
How
me
again?
Is this better?
Not much, leh.
Testing, testing.
It's
Yeah,
quite
I
clear
think
on my
better.
side.
Okay.
You got to hold the mic
Display.
nearer to you, lor.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So in this case, how is it? Should I share my screen?
Yeah, you share your screen. I will share into your group now.
Okay, 1 second now. Let me open up the slide. The computer is taking some time to open up the slides. Sorry, the computer is not showing up my slide. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm going to share my slides now.
Wait, I need to share to Facebook. But my keyboard is not working.
Oh.
Okay, ready when you are.
Okay, how does it look like on your side?
Yeah, I can see your PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay, very good. I can start anytime.
Okay, I'm going live in 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to allow people into the room. It's Wesker and Robert.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this special live workshop on Love Matters. How to find love, eliminate burnout, and heal from within for sales professionals. So this workshop is especially made for you for sales professionals. If you are a seasoned sales professional with more than 3 years under your belt, and you are doing financially well, but along the way you have made sacrifices that your relationships with your loved ones, your children, and the people around you, they're falling apart, and you're doing whatever you can, but it's never enough, and you don't know what the next step is. So you actually went through this emotional burden in you, and you're feeling that you have lost your motivation to work. You're not getting any kind of fulfillment in your work anymore like previously. So right now you're holding it together, but you're already mentally and emotionally drained on the inside. Does this sound like you? So even so, you're determined to actually take back control of your life. So if so, this presentation and live workshop is made for you. And today, this is our team at My Advancement, and today we have our team live with us at this workshop. We have Sean, and also we have our coach, Sharon, with us. Do you guys want to say hi? Okay. Yes, so we believe in bringing out the best in each person, in living their truth, and also to help them live a balanced and complete life. Okay. So in the next 45 minutes, I will be showing you what it means to be a loving salesperson. You will learn how to heal from all the emotional burden and frustration that you have accumulated in you and master your own emotions. You will discover how you can connect with yourself and your loved ones so that you can live true in alignment to who you really are as a loving being in your sales career and your personal life. You will also learn how to build supportive and uplifting relationships in your environment with your loved ones as well as at work with your clients. So here is my promise to you. By the end of this workshop, you will learn how the step-by-step blueprint on how to lift all your emotional burdens, the blocks that's inside you as a sales professional, discover who you really are so that you can be in perfect control of your life. So before I get to the good stuff, I just want to quickly check in with you. Does this sound like you? Are you an experienced sales professional who is losing your motivation in sales, which is something you actually used to love doing? Do you feel like no matter how many deals you try and close to provide for your loved ones, you are still not doing enough? You're still not being appreciated in your personal relationships? Do you struggle to find time to spend with your loved ones, but when you finally have time, you actually struggle to be present and have trouble connecting with them one-on-one? Do you feel lonely even though you're constantly surrounded by people? And the thing is, you actually, at the end of the day, you actually don't know what you are living for anymore. You don't know yourself. You don't know why you're motivated to work. You don't know what are you doing every day, putting in so much work for anymore. And for some of you, Your relationship with your spouse or your long-term partner is actually on the line, and you have never felt more helpless and powerless at this point in time. So if you're there, maybe one wrong move and you will be crashing and burning all the efforts that you have made to build throughout all these years in your relationship and your career. Now, if you find yourself in such situations, don't worry, because that is not the real problem. So the good news is, the real problem is actually you haven't made the shifts in you, right? Those are actually symptoms and results of your thinking and your emotions that is inside you right now. And the thing is, once you make the shift, you will develop a newfound sense of confidence and belief in yourself. You will always be able to feel complete, certain, and fulfilled on the inside. You will excel not because you hustle, but because you found yourself and connect with yourself at your core. You will be crystal clear about what you really want in your life, and you will be able to accomplish all your personal and professional goals. And because you are able to be living so complete and fulfilled, your relationships will start reflecting the same balance, harmony, and success that you are emanating. One by one, you will be able to reconnect with the people that matters to you deeply, and you will be able to sleep every night with total rest, total conviction, knowing that you are living the best in your life. You have the confidence to conquer anything that stands in your way, anything that is right now that you're facing in your relationships. You wouldn't be able to feel so helpless anymore. And you can finally say, I finally know who I am, where I am going in my life. So I'm going to quickly share with you how I discovered the 4 shifts that I'm going to be showing you in a while. Right? In 2018, I was actually working as a sales professional for about 7 years already. I was caught in the endless cycle of sales. Every month on month, there is sales target to be hitting, bringing in new new customers for the company, and on. I've been going on this cycle for 7 years, right? And throughout this cycle, I actually neglected my own relationships. What happened is my relationships got so bad. I wasn't talking to my dad. I eventually didn't like my job. I lost my ex-partner of 5 years then. I didn't enjoy my life, right? So that was what happened to me in 2018. And I was actually already burnt out, right? That was when I met Sean and Sharon. So they helped me to get to where I am today. And I'm going to share with you these 4 shifts that actually helped me regain myself, my confidence, found myself at my core, and to build what I have today. So get ready. I'm going to share with you the first shift. The first shift is to transform yourself at your core. So what do I mean by transforming yourself at your core? I have a few questions for you to think about. How is your relationship with yourself? Do you know who you are at your core? How well do you truly know and understand yourself? Right? So because of what I've been through and because of the life that I was living previously, I didn't understand myself at all, right? And every single time when I'm choose to do something that is not aligned with my conscience, aligned with what I truly want on the inside, I actually got further away and away from what my inner self really wants to do. So back then, if you would ask me these 3 questions, I wouldn't know how to answer these 3 questions, right? So at the end of the day, it was Sharon who actually taught me how to connect with myself within and with my soul. And that is how I'm actually able to live a life I have today. So on this note, I want to share with you how I was living last time. All right, this is on the picture on the left, you can see that was me last time when I was burnout in 2018. That was the picture that showed exactly how I was at that point in time, right? After reconnecting with my soul, this is how I look like. I connect with myself within and actually trust what I truly want on the inside and actually fight for it on my day-to-day life. And today I'm able to build a business, have a life, have a relationship, and truly happy, feel happy on the inside. So on this note, I would also like to, ask Sean and Sharon to add in on this about transforming yourself. You know, what actually happened for you? And if you have not understood or connect with yourself on the inside, what would actually happen to someone who hasn't found themselves on the inside? Maybe Sean, you can answer this question.
Yeah, so this reminds me of a client that I have. Let's call her Maxine. And so Maxine is actually quite young, and it's different from most of our clients who are in their 40s or 50s. And Maxine is only 20 years old. But she's saying things like, I have done everything I could. I don't know what else I can do. Maxine is saying things like, I am unsure who I want to be, so I struggled to write my goals, my definite chief aim. I'm really tired of my current life now, but I don't know what to do to break this cycle in her sales job. And she's saying things like, I don't know why. And she's saying that I do believe in myself, but I just feel like I go into the wrong direction in the beginning. So, what do you see in this trend? You can see that for Maxine, she has this problem that a lot of people have, which is they only look at the outside, which means that if the outside looks fine, then they feel fine. And if the outside doesn't look fine, then they don't feel fine. So their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, and their actions and their habits and their way of life is entirely controlled by what happens on the outside. So, uh, at this stage of Maxine's growth, she is still learning what we call the law of inside out thinking, which states that everything that's happening to you right now is a reflection of what's happening inside of yourself. So, when we say transform yourself, it actually has nothing to do with the things you do outside. So, Maxine has been changing jobs, trying different platforms, trying drop shipping, and the common thing within all of these things is that they are all outside of Maxine. And when we say transform yourself, we want clients like Maxine to understand that, hey, no matter, because Maxine is very hardworking, Maxine is very proactive, and even though Maxine is young, she's from Malaysia, and she's doing everything in her power to improve her situation, improve her way of life so that she can take care of her family. But the only thing that's missing is she is unable to look inside. So all those things you said about understanding yourself and knowing yourself, actually Maxine has no clue. So when a salesperson goes on this path and it's only focused on the world outside, they have very little control of what's really happening inside, and they want to replace this lack of self-understanding with hard work, with changing the external platforms, changing the programs, and they are thinking, why don't any of these uh, external tools, programs, techniques work for me? So as a result, they go on this chase for more techniques, more programs. And when they burn out, Maxine says things like, oh, not much results happening. I feel kind of tired. I just need to rest and hang out with friends. And after that, I'll be able to work again. Um, so when the problem is inside and they chase outside and they still get stuck using alcohol, hanging out with friends, they don't share their goals and visions and frequencies, they are doing nothing to rectify the root cause of the problem. So to me, when you say transform yourself, I think everything starts from within. And I think a lot of people need to start understanding this inside out thinking. What about you, Sharon?
Okay, are you able to hear me? Because it seems like it's mute on my side.
No, loud
Yes.
and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay.
now.
Okay, for myself is that if I don't try to look into myself, I will start looking for the outside, like what Sean says with the client, that if I keep looking outside for recognition, I'll be very busy running about and not feeling fulfilled myself. If you don't feel fulfilled yourself from the within, I don't see any purpose in life, and that actually brought me to quite a serious depression, I would say. And only when I know that I need a transformation, when you're at the peak bottom, is either you die there or you just have to transform yourself to come out of it. So for me myself is that I see light, that I have to transform myself. It's a have to. It's not whether I want it or not, but I have to transform myself in order to get myself out of the pit, and also to felt to feel more of myself, or physically to feel that I'm still in this world. It's not like, I'm not sure whether did y'all watch the Train to Busan, where all the zombies are just walking around. In the past, when the words transformation has never come to me, only transformer that comes to me, during that time. Transformation has never occurred in me, and it's a bit scary to think about it right now, after you have been transformed, and to think back, if you have not gone through this path, this journey of transformation, will I be one of them that is ready in Busan? One of them that is walking aimlessly, just looking around for lights outside of me, myself. So for me, transformation is a very, very important things that I think every one of us should think about, whether is it a choice or is it a must? For me, it's a must. How about you?
I
Andrea,
think
can you share the video participants on your site so that Facebook can see our faces? So, Sharon, what would you say to someone like Maxine? Because for her, she's conscious of the pit that you're talking about, and she's conscious that she has to do something. The only problem is, even though Maxine has all the initiative, is very proactive, is very willing to do the work, she struggles with understanding this concept of insight first, and it's not about, oh, I need this one opportunity, I need this one program, because the opportunities and the programs are outside of Maxine, but Maxine doesn't understand what do you mean inside my body, like. So how would you explain this concept so that someone like Maxine can start to understand?
The first question that actually I ask myself when I'm in the pit is, what if I have stripped off of everything? I mean everything that you own. For example, your clothes, anything that you own on the outside. For example, your clothing, your makeups, even your friends, your family members. If you have stripped off of that, what do you have on the inside? Like, what do you feel on the inside of you? If without all these things, do you feel that you are still alive? Do you feel that you are happy? Do you feel that, hey, yeah, I'm on this earth and I'm very happy that I'm here to share my life with anyone? I will actually tell Macy that if you have stripped off everything, what do you feel inside? And I would say it's not only to Macy, but a lot of people, when you ask them this question, the next thing they tell you is, I felt nothing. So I trust that if Sean were to ask Macy this question, Macy might give him the answer is, I think I have nothing inside. Which a lot of people that I met, when I talk to them, I ask them the same questions. They come and tell me, yeah, I don't feel the purpose. I don't feel anything. I'm just like an empty shell inside. So to me, is when you're at that stage, there's no choice already. It's a must for transformation.
Yeah, and you have been saying that transformation is something that we must do, especially at a time where you yourself were inside the pit. And the only problem is that young people, of course, when you are in the pit, the sense of urgency is very real. But I
Yes.
know that for young salespeople who are in their 20s or even in their 30s, for those in their 20s, like exactly like a Maxine, she is young, so she feels that, hey, even though it's tiring, I have the energy, so I can hang out with my friends. I can just rest up because I'm in my 20s. I can go. And for those in their 30s, they have a different way of coping because they have been doing these for years, so they have become conditioned to deal with the burnout. So is it really a case where they will only feel the sense of urgency? Must they really wait until they are 40 or their 50s and they look back, and when they don't have the energy anymore, when they don't have the pain threshold anymore, and they are in their 40s, in their 50s, must a salesperson really wait until that kind of age in their 40s and 50s to feel the urgency of the wake up call, the need to truly transform how they think?
What I felt is that it doesn't matter how old are you, whether you are in your young 20s, mid 20s, in the 50s, it doesn't really matter. But then there'll be signs. Burnout is not, it's not suddenly you just burn out, like you felt that there's nothing worth living for. No, there'll be signs of burnout. Like there's stages of burnout, right? I trust everyone will know the stages of burnout, right? It's like, first you find that you are dragging your feet to work, or some people, to the even worse extent, is that they're burnt out in life, not just in their job. Some people drag their feet even going home. If you felt this is already the initial sign, right? Or you just felt that, what am I really chasing for? I believe all this, even if you are in the 20s, you are full of energy. But once you start dragging your feet to do something that you are already in routine to, there is something wrong here already. There's something not right already. Do you all agree to that?
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, so I trust that this is one of the signs that the young professionals, the young sales professionals should watch out. I would say it's not only the young sales professionals, because yes, I know that this program is more, this live Zoom is more for sales professionals, but this also is a sign for everyone, because I trust that everyone will be burnt out if they find no purpose in life, right?
Wow, amazing. Okay, so I think Sharon, you have put it in a very nice, it graphically people can actually understand very well even into your day-to-day life, when they are commuting, how are they feeling, right? Even in their day-to-day life, at every moment they are living, are they truly living as a person, or are they actually living like a zombie? So with this note, you have to actually think about it yourself and be aware of what is your current state, mental state, and approach and attitude in your day-to-day life, right? Because if you are already dragging your feet in returning home, in being doing your day-to-day work, then what is life to you actually, right? So like what Sharon said, it maybe if you're at that point in time, you will have to think about making a choice that transformation is a must for you. Okay, so with this, I will proceed on to my second shift here. And the second shift is to actually transform your love for yourself. Okay, so everyone has a certain idea about how love is, right? It depends on the way you have been brought up by your parents, so your upbringing. So most of us we are taught about love by our parents and or the environment that we grew up in, right? And if right now you are seeing that your relationships are falling apart, maybe it is time to actually transform your love or your idea of love, especially towards yourself. Now, ask yourself this question: do you love yourself, right? How are you accepting yourself, right? How are you treating yourself? If you look at your current health situation, be it in your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, ask yourself, are you happy with the work that you are doing right now? Are you happy and having joy in your relationships? Right, you have to be really honest with yourself to find the answer, right? Stop. You have to really question and give yourself an honest feedback in order to see the real answers to these questions. So ask yourself, if you truly love yourself and looking back, would you have let yourself be the way you are for the past 3 to 5 years? Right? Because love actually is about cultivating and nurturing yourself. Okay, so you will actually, if your health is not in a good position, you will actually look for the best to heal yourself, and you will, to look for the best, you will actually need to learn to receive the best that is given to you as well. Now, are you able to do this for yourself? If looking at my past picture, I was someone who actually grew older in the age, but if you look at me, I'm on the inside, I'm actually just like a child looking for recognition, looking for attention, seeking for love, right? So if you were to look at my older picture, I'll show you some later on again. You will actually see that in my eyes, I am actually feeling very lost in life. Okay, I'm actually seeking for affection, seeking for love, seeking for connection with people. So if at any point in time your relationships are already falling apart, right? The fundamentally you will have to look at how you are treating yourself, because you will look at your relationship with yourself first. And with that, it is how you actually love yourself. Okay? So actually earlier on, when we talk about transforming yourself and transforming your love, Sharon actually came up with this model. Right, so maybe Sharon, you can share a little bit more about how does this two shifts work together, transforming yourself and transforming your love for yourself.
Okay, for those of you watching live over at the live stream on Facebook, remember to drop a comment and let us know where you're at as you listen to these sharing and stories, and drop a comment, live or replay. Sharon, are you there?
Oh, Sharon, let me see. Are you able to unmute?
Okay, sorry, just now I'm not able to unmute. Okay, this model actually from the self, if we take care of ourselves, no matter whether is it physically, emotionally, spiritually, when we take care of ourselves, we will actually be able to give out love, understanding, recognition, and also fulfillment. But all this must come from within. So when we give ourselves self-love, okay, this four, love, understanding, recognition, and fulfillment, actually it comes in a cycle. It doesn't matter which one you start first. Some people start with self-love first. So when you have self-love, you start to want to understand yourself. If you don't love one person, you will not want to understand that person, right? If, for example, your colleague, if you are just working partners, yes, maybe you just want to know about how he or she works in a way. Okay, but however, if you want to go further, like for example, getting to know someone who is your life partner, you want to understand that person inside out. So there's a lot of times that we don't do that to ourselves. It's like we are just here for the sake of being here. But if we start to want to learn, love ourselves, or to understand ourselves much more, from us understanding ourselves, we will tend to put in effort to learn about other people also. Because you know, you don't see a reflection just in the mirror, but you actually attracts your own reflections. So when other people comes into your life, we actually attract, part of them will be our reflections. It's like our mirror image. So when we know how to do our self-understanding, then we will be able to understand the others also. That it actually helps us in a very good cycle to begin with. And once you have the understanding, you will have the recognition. Because once you understand yourself, you start to be confident of yourself. Once you're confident with yourself, you don't need to look outside for recognition. Like you don't need to get someone or do an action to get someone to say that, hey, you are doing a good job. But no, you know that you yourself is doing a good job. So that comes with a self-recognition. Then for me, it's a very natural thing that once I recognize myself, I felt fulfilled, I felt satisfied with myself. So there's a fulfillment. It's just like when you recognize another person, you actually felt that their work or your relationship with them is really fulfilled, really have chemistry over there, that y'all will be bond. You know, doesn't matter whether it's your family members, your working colleagues, or anyone. So once the recognition is being fulfilled, a fulfillment or satisfaction will come. When that comes, you will want more. So you will love to have another cycle going on again. So this is the self cycle. This is what I call the self cycle of knowing yourself, loving yourself, recognizing yourself, and being fulfilled. That this is one of the way that once a person have this cycle, I can say is that it's almost 99% sure that they will not feel the burnout anymore.
Wow. Okay. So on this note, we can see that with this cycle itself, let's say it doesn't matter where the person starts. So let's say you start from self-love, like self, then it will actually start the whole cycle going. And on this, it is like a sure way out of burnout, right?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
You can
So
even start from recognition. For example, some people who always want to look for recognition from the outside. You can
just like
start
me last
affirming
time.
yourself. Yeah, like seeking for recognition from other people. You can start affirming yourself, telling yourself that you recognize yourself, you award yourself, reward yourself. I'm not sure whether does any one of you all do this, is that maybe set a time frame that at the end of this time frame, you all have reached your mark, your goal. And you reward yourself by buying a little gifts or pampering yourself, this and that. This is also a part of self-recognition.
Mm.
So if you start from there, you felt that, yeah, I'm satisfied at this. So you start, once you're satisfied, the love for it will come back or will comes, depending on where you start the cycle. So it will come back, then the cycle will start again and again.
Mm. Very well. Okay.
Mm.
And with this, I would like to actually ask Sean about, because yesterday I was talking to Sean about, understanding self. And he himself actually went through a lot of transformation from a sickly kid to a martial arts instructor, underachiever to national athlete, from a broken person to actually a copywriter and a closer, employee to an entrepreneur. So maybe Sean, you can share more on about how transformation in terms of what the cycle that Sharon shared earlier and how this has helped you again and again shift your identity from the the one that you don't want to and become an ideal self that you want to be.
So, for those of you who don't know, Sharon is actually the coach for Andrea and myself as well, and she has helped us do a lot of mindset. And one of the questions I asked her before was, how do you tell if someone has self-love? And one of the signs she said that you will notice that this person is always working on improving himself or on herself, or they are always able to set aside time, to take care of themselves. They put themselves first. They treat their mind, body, and soul as a gift, as a priority, right? So they have a lot of self-love. And I know that for a lot of salespeople, when you talk about identity, most salespeople, especially when they're young, they don't really feel the need to do that, to improve themselves, to change their identity, to do things that benefit themselves. Because at that age, it's very easy, like Maxine, to look on the outside and say, oh, the program is wrong, the direction is wrong, the tools, the techniques, the external. So at that age, you're only able to see external things. So for me, my process was very different. I was very certain that if I don't change my identity, I will always remain stuck because of this concept that we call the identity cycle. So think about it. If you really love yourself and if you saw that you were stuck in an identity cycle, for example, Andrea, when you were having an employee mindset and you didn't think about loving yourself. And when you were in that space, no matter how hard you work, you will just be running harder and faster in that same cycle. So for that reason, if you want real change, if you are sick and tired of your burnt out life as a salesperson, whether you realize it or not, whether you want to admit it or not. The moment you realize that, hey, even if I were to really run very fast in this space, I'm still going to be stuck in this cycle. Every year when, New Year comes or Christmas comes, and then you just go through the same year, every year, you're back to your job again that you don't like. You're having to chase after numbers that don't bring you the fulfillment. And at home, your relationships aren't working out. You're not having time with your loved ones, with your kids, your spouse. Basically, things are falling apart, but you're just doing your best to hold it together. And at that moment, if you try to do self-improvement, it's not enough to break that cycle. If you really, really love yourself, you will not allow yourself to be in a broken cycle or a toxic cycle or a negative environment. You will do whatever it takes to hit the reset button, because you can't improve on a broken cycle. You need to hit the reset button. So if you look at the slide now, basically everything on the left was point A, and what I want to achieve is point B. And you can see the gap between A and B, from sickly kid to martial arts instructor, from underachiever to national athlete, from being a broken man because my then girlfriend of 2 years left me and I lost all motivation to do anything. And my end goal was to become a full-time copywriter and closer. And from an employee to entrepreneur, all these shifts do not come from a free YouTube video, from a 7-week online course, from a $7 ebook. When you talk about transformation, you have to go all in and hit the reset button to say, I will no longer be that addicted to alcohol salesperson. I will no longer be that person that lashes out at my boyfriend or girlfriend. I will no longer be that parent that's not there for my kids. I will no longer be that person that doesn't know how to love myself. So you hit that no longer button because it's like enough is enough. So in the past, if you work in sales and you weren't conscious of this concept of loving yourself, of taking care of your identity cycles, if now you are conscious, then it is your duty to hit the reset button today, right now, because even if you run faster, even if you work harder, if your paradigm is running on a broken cycle, you cannot get out of it by improving it. You have to completely destroy the old identity and build a new one where you're able to love yourself and therefore you're able to love others. And loving yourself brings you fulfillment, it brings you clarity, it brings you daily rejuvenation. You will never burn out. So to me, this is the ultimate way of transforming yourself, getting out of that maze of overworking by loving yourself first.
Very, very nicely explained. So when one person actually wants to put themselves first, and recognize themselves, they will actually start the self cycle that Sharon actually mentioned earlier, right? In this self cycle, to give yourself love, understanding, recognition, and achieve fulfillment in your day-to-day life. So this is how one person can 99%, right, eliminate burnout from their life. And with this, I'm going to share with you the third shift on how you can transform yourself by transforming your mind. And this is how Sean and I actually successfully transform ourselves, right? Using the secret weapon called mind advancement. Okay, so you have to understand all the results on the outside, right? As what Sean actually explained earlier, when he talked about Maxine, right? All the results are actually a direct reflection on what is going on inside us. So instead of changing on the outside, we have to change on the inside. And if we don't change on the inside, the outside doesn't change. So this is how it works. 90% of all our perceptions, behaviors, and results are subconscious. And so when we reprogram your mind with the winning codes, what do you think will happen to your results, right? And when your subconscious accepts the newly designed reality as true, won't the results change? So in other words, advancing our mind is actually the only way to move forward, to transform yourself. Okay? So for the longest time this is how salespeople has been trying and trying and trying to cope and balance in their relationships, at the work, and hitting their sales target over and over again. This is how they have been doing the old way. Okay? They feeling very stressed over every week, so they will meet their colleagues to go for drinks. So they will use alcohol, some use drugs, caffeine, or food to actually cope with the stress they are feeling at work and also at home, right? They'll wait for the events and celebrations to happen to connect with their loved ones. But if not, they're always away, right? And sometimes the loved ones have to keep asking, when are they free for the next vacation? When are they free, and be there for their son or their daughter's performance, right? Or their son or their daughter's to take them out and spend time with them, right? So when are they available to take a vacation? And by taking a vacation, does that really solve the problems that has been going on in the relationship and what they have been feeling on the inside, on their emotional level? Taking time off, all these are just ways that they have been using to actually take some time away from the stress. And if no solution is found, nothing they're working on permanent solution to eliminate the problems that are happening in their relationship or at work right now. All these things that these salespeople are using are actually an avoidance, right, to the real problems they are facing, right? So instead of facing the real problems, they are always checking out again and again. Isn't this how they check out in their problems? And at the end of the day, it may become a habit. So they continue using more alcohol, taking more vacations, and taking time off. But at the end of the day, the real problem underneath is getting worse day by day. And for some, even if they go for self-improvement techniques, by reading a book or learning YouTube videos online, are these really going to solve their problems if they don't know what exactly is happening in their relationship right now? And some ask for their family and friends for advice. Now, earlier on, I said that many times a lot of the idea and concept of love is how we learn from our parents, right? So if you ask the people around you, are they really going to help you solve the problems that you are facing in your relationship right now, when those thinking and habits have actually got you to where your problem is at this point in time? Okay, and some even think that over time, the problems will fade away, things will change, right? Is that going to really happen? So at the end of the day, when they go through year after year with the same kind of problems, with the same kind of underlying problems in their relationships, and they cannot find a solution, what do you think happens to them on the inside? And if you are watching this live or on a replay right now, do you feel that you have been already trying everything that's out there and nothing is working for you? Now, does this even make sense? So too many salespeople who are using the old way are actually dancing around the problems on the surface, right? On the previous slide that I've showed you earlier. And in actual fact, the real problem is happening on the inside that is holding them back. So that is why they procrastinate. Anytime they feel with stress, anytime they found with a problem that they cannot handle, they actually run to seek for comfort. It can be through alcohol, it can be through food, okay, through their old ways. And this actually puts them in a procrastination cycle instead of standing up for themselves, instead of transforming themselves, right? And underlying this kind of actions, there's actually a lot of fear, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of uncertainty, okay? And they're held back by their limiting beliefs, right? And all these beliefs, if unexamined, they are actually being inherited from our parents, from the people that have been around us. It may be due to our culture, it may be due to our upbringing, due to the way that we have been taught since young, okay? Some even have trauma and emotional wounds that have impacted them since young, and it's being hidden away because it may be too painful, or you may think that there is no way that you can ever heal from this emotional wound or trauma. So if you're finding yourself in such situation, then ask yourself this question: are you going to quietly suffer in this fear, self-doubt, uncertainty, right? This kind of things, the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Are you going to quietly suffer in your emotional wounds that time and time again will still remind you of your own self-worth, right? Or are you going to stand up for yourself to transform? Okay. So with this, I'm going to share with you the stages of mind advancement. There are two parts to it. There is a downward spiral and an upward spiral. And there are 4 stages in each. I'm going to share with you later in details. And from the downward spiral to the upward spiral is actually linked by the bridge called the first step. Okay. I know I'm running into 50 minutes now. So if you are watching this live or on the replay, do know that there is a lot of important information that we want to share with you. And I'm going to go a bit faster right now. So if there's any question, you can put in the comments for those who are watching live right now. So for the downward spiral, you know, this is the 4 stages, right? You may be in your relationship, you may be trying out something new, or you may be making some promises that you'll be stop the unhealthy habits or anything that actually will put you in a worse situation, right? You actually want to start over again. Okay, so that is where you start in stage 1. On the stage 2, maybe your solution is not working out well. Okay, so if you are finding that you're moving downwards to stage 2 where you lost control again, this is where you know that what you're using right now is all coping mechanisms. Okay, they are not solving the root of your problem, which is all still lying inside you. Okay, you have to unroot the problem to actually get out of this cycle. I'm going to explain more later in the upward spiral. So if you are going down in the downward spiral, in stage 2, you see that you are not in control anymore, right? You're starting to see that you are falling back to your old habits, that you are lashing out at people, with your loved ones. You cannot control yourself anymore. You're feeling so frustrated and angry, right? That's where you are not in control anymore, okay? Your emotions are actually controlling you instead of you being in control for your emotions. And in stage 3, that's where your structure actually crumbles. The important things to you are falling apart. Like, example, your spouse is not talking to you anymore, or time and time again, the spouse actually talk about divorce. Okay, your kids are not talking to you anymore, or you're having sleepless night, right? You cannot even live well day to day, right? You are constantly stressful and worried. So your health is actually falling apart at the same time, and those are very important things to you. And when you're in stage 4, that is where you don't want to get there, because stage 4, when you're in stage 4, the damages may be irreversible, right? So when you are in stage 4, the damage may be irreversible, such that your partner actually pack up his or her bag and left you overnight, right? Or your child, you've just found out that your child is diagnosed with depression. Why is that so? Okay, so when it gets to this stage, the damage has been done and there's no way back. So hopefully, if you're watching this right now, you're not inside stage 3 or 4. Okay, but if that is so, because this is what happened to some of our clients, and that's not what I want you to be in right now. Most people actually wait till their wits end before they reach out for help. This is what I'm going to say to you. Don't wait for the wake up call to happen to reach out. Okay, anything that you are seeing in stage 2 right now, you can actually see the symptoms, you can see the signs. Reach out for help. Okay, you have to take charge of your own healing process, and with that you will be able to get to the upward spiral, right? So that is where you actually see positive results. And how do you know whether someone is in control? That's in stage 2. Okay, so when you're in control, your results actually will supersede your goals, right? And you will be in an upward spiral. That is where you constantly see positive results happening over and over again, right? And the thing is, when you are on this upward spiral, nothing can stop you. So you remember the self-fulfilling cycle that Sharon showed earlier, Sharon explained earlier. This is how you actually go onto the upward spiral. And I'm going to share with you more later on in details about how it actually works. Okay, so when you're on the upward spiral, ultimately your goals will exceed your expectations very easily, right? Because you are on the uplifting cycle, and at the end of the day you will actually become complete. Okay, that's where you become independent and self-sufficient as a complete man. So this is the stages of my advancement. And I want to actually expand a bit more about being the complete person. Maybe I would like to ask Sean, what is his idea of a complete person?
To me, a complete person is someone that is self-sufficient. So I think what most salespeople fail to understand is the idea of balance. And I think a lot of salespeople, regardless of what age they're at, they may either not be aware of this concept of balance, or they may take it for granted. So to me, a complete life is this were if today were to be your last day in this lifetime, and you could do anything you want, you could spend it with anybody you want, how and all your wishes will be fulfilled because it's your last day. Okay, so how would you spend it? And the top 10, 20 things that you list that you must do on your last day before you die, why are you not doing it every day? So if someone is able to spend every day of his life as though it was his last day, and if for example, if you work in sales and your last day, I'm pretty sure it's not about going back to the office and making a couple more sales, right? It's probably breakfast with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife, dinner with your family, maybe you'll do your favorite hobby one last time, and you will just maybe want to be alone for, I don't know, so like whatever you put into your final day list, so to speak. Someone that is doing his final day list on a daily basis, to me that person is living his truth in the most honest way possible. Unfortunately, most people only start doing these things when either they are old, or they find out that they don't have much time left to live, or whatever wake up call hits them before they realize, oh my God, like these are the important things. So that's my idea of a complete life, or if not a complete day.
Mm, okay. And Sharon, would you like to share your idea of a complete man?
For me, a complete man is someone who don't really look on the outside. and they know that they have the strength to do whatever that they want, and they are fulfilled, and they know that they are also a living examples for another person. I would say it's a lot of complete men. You don't need to really live like what Sean says, is to really live every day as if you are at your last. For me, is that is a good guideline, but you don't really need to do that, right? Every day you just have a little of improvement for yourself, and knowing that you don't need to depend on others to give you a medal, but you give yourself a medal every day for simple little things. Like, for example, if this today you wake up slightly like 5 minutes earlier than yesterday, you are able to improve yourself and fulfill yourself and giving yourself love. I will find that that is more or less you are on your way to become a complete person. A complete
I
person to me is a process rather than a final product. Every day we try to be a complete person, doing much better than yesterday or maybe than the seconds before. That's my idea of a complete person.
Wow, okay. And I remember recently I actually read the top 5 regrets of a dying person, right? So I would imagine if we are on the uplifting cycle of the self cycle, and on the upward spiral and doing things for ourselves every day, we will not, at the end of the day, when we are supposed to graduate from this physical world, we will not die with all these top 5 regrets, right? Okay, thank you, Sean and Sharon, for sharing on that. So I'm going to share with you what happened, for me when I took the first step. Okay, so previously I was always looking for validation from others. I was burnout, for 7 years working in sales. And I actually, didn't do the things I like to do, right? I actually live like a solar zombie, and I have zero clarity, right? Because I was so used to listening to others and what others want instead of what I truly want on the inside. But I have a desire, I have a human being, I am a human being, and I have emotional needs which I often neglect, right? Because I don't even know what are they. I don't know my emotions. I don't really listen to myself, and I neglect myself so much that this is how I look back then as a burnout salesperson. So this is how I look. If you can see the eyes, and yeah, it's not a very good place to live when I think about it, when I look back, right? Okay, my computer is having some problems. The picture was so burnt out that my computer is stuck. Okay, so this is how I look like today, right? Can you see the difference in the eyes, in my expression, in my energy? For those who can actually read energy, you will be able to see that it is two different people. And that is how transformation actually work, right? You will actually see two different person, because my thinking, my vibration, my energy, it's all changed, right? So this is how I look like today. I'm more confident about myself. I understand myself well. I know what emotions I'm going through. I know what I want to do day to day, living a fulfilled life. So this is how I look like today. Can you see the difference? Now, for the stages of advancement, this is how it works. Okay, by taking the first step, I actually went on the stage 3 back then. I probably was even in stage 4 already, right? Fully burned out for 7 years, but I took the first step and I started to see positive results. I'm in control right now. That's why I'm on my way to becoming complete if I were to live on the self-fulfilling cycle. So if you are currently going through any situation that is in stage 3 or 4, don't worry, because I've actually been through the process and I actually walked out of being in burnout zone, right? So to expand more, I want to explain about why does the downward spiral happen, okay? So behind all the problems that I showed you earlier on the emotional trauma, on the uncertainty, self-doubt, fear, okay, there's always a root cause behind it, right? And why I was seeking recognition from the outside, there's a root cause behind it, okay, that happened when I was in childhood, okay? So, and from there, I actually form a certain belief, right, that I'm not good enough until I reach somebody's expectation. But guess what? I will never be able to reach any other person's expectation, okay? If I don't have one myself, it will never end, right? It will never end for anybody who comes into my life. So that was why I was stuck in the downward spiral. Now, if our beliefs are weak, we will easily crack when we are tested, okay? And the external tools and techniques will never work, okay? That was what happened for me. I actually invested a lot in self improvement, but nothing worked for me because my belief is still within me. My limiting belief was still within me last time, okay? Until I remove and unroot. That's where I work with Sharon and Sean. I unroot my limiting beliefs. I was on the upward spiral, okay? So the end goal is actually to unroot the root cause that is holding you back in your relationships right now, right? So you can be on the belief change when you're eliminating all the root causes, and that's where you start to heal. Okay, so without healing, you will actually always react with your defense or coping mechanisms. Okay, that's where you run away, right? That's where you are in the reactive, and that's where you are stuck in the downward spiral. But if you unroot the root causes, then you will start healing and no longer go back to your old coping mechanisms. That's where you completely destroy your old paradigm, okay, and start to build a brand new and permanent way of life. Now, this is the question I have for you. Do you dare to take the first step? Okay. So very quickly, I'm going to share with you our client Brandon. He actually worked for 5 years in sales in the bank with his girlfriend, and they already invested 20K in sales training, right? Thinking that the techniques will actually help him progress because he wants to progress financially so that they can actually settle down, he save up the money, settle down, and actually spend a life with the girlfriend. So when he got to us, he actually contacted us for help when his girlfriend, Celine, actually asked for a breakup, right? And that was when he first reached out to us. Then we got to know that his passion really is to play basketball and not continue to work in the bank, but he thought he had to, right? Because this is where he actually have all his success and recognition from, okay? So he wasn't able to play basketball because he actually have a limiting belief in him. And even though he intellectually understood the importance of mind advancement, right? But it didn't help him, okay? Why? So this limiting belief is that he actually saw himself as the origin of misfortune. And it started way back when he was a child, or he was a teenager. He was actually playing basketball, but he grew up in a negative and broken family, and he actually injured himself back then. Okay, so with the family believing that Brandon actually, didn't take care of himself, he actually brought this injury to him, and he got stuck in this broken limiting belief of himself, that he was the origin of misfortune, because his family actually told him that, you know, look at you, you don't even know how to take care of yourself. Look at you, you actually brought this to yourself, right? So from then on, he was stuck with this mental program in his head, limiting belief that was in him up till now, when he's, you know, the incident happened when he was 15 years old. Up to now, he's actually 27 years old, but he's still running on this limiting belief. He became, you know, over time, over these 10 years, he became a chronic procrastinator, and he's stuck in his comfort zone. Why? Because he believes that any single thing that he does, okay, will actually, he will bring the misfortune, he will bring the bad luck, he will bring downfall to anything that he's working on. Does he know this consciously? No, he was chained by this limiting belief in him, which he don't even consciously understand or know that it is in him, right? But this is something that he has been carrying around in him. So he's chained, actually, his results is chained by this limiting belief, and he has zero confidence. He has no idea who he was, you know, what he was working for. And this actually, when he talked about this with myself and Sean, you know, and Sharon, he actually broke down when he said, you know, I don't even know what I'm working for. I don't even know myself. And that's where he broke down. Okay. So the wake up call happened, you know, when, for Celine, actually Celine is the one that reached out to us, to me, and their relationships were falling apart badly. Okay. So both of them were actually in the burnout situation, right? And they thought that by ending the relationship, it would solve things. That is what Brandon thought. But no, Celine wanted the relationship, okay? And when their relationship is falling apart, Celine actually reached out to us. And what happened is, we got on the phone with her. We understood that she was also neglected when she was a child, okay? Like myself, you know, she, in the end, she went to alcohol as one of her ways to cope with the emotional pain that is inside her. Okay, both of them were stuck in, you know, they were in this, they are in this loving relationship, but they don't know how to progress. Brandon has his own set of problems, Celine has her own set of stress, okay? And they don't want to bring burden to each other. Can you see how limiting beliefs in both of them actually caused their relationship when both of them actually love each other? So they both wanted to change, but they don't know where to start, okay? And this went on and on. They procrastinated. Finally, the wake-up calls came, okay? That's when Celine actually found herself drunk, blacked out in another person, in another man's bed. That's where Brandon said, this is it, enough is enough, I want to break up, okay? Celine didn't know what to do, and she knew that she knew that Brandon is the only person that she wants to keep in her life. She doesn't like her job. She doesn't enjoy her relationship with her friends. She don't know how to connect with her family. But she know that Brandon is very important to her. That's how she reached out to us. Okay? And it's not pretty at all, right? But at that point in time, things may not be able to go back to the same again. And when both Brandon and Celine actually experience a downward spiral, okay? Because of their limiting beliefs, they only know how to trade their life away for material possessions. Both of them work in the bank, so instead of following what they truly want to do, Brandon is to actually play basketball. For Celine, she actually like to be an entrepreneur, and she have her own business. She wants to open her own business, selling her own things, her own creations, while having control of her time in the day, instead of going to meetings after meetings, seeing clients, and working in a job, in a sales job that she doesn't like, right? So they paid the price with their health and their relationships, you know. And when we ask them, what do you guys live for other than money? They actually reply, nothing. Because they have been neglecting their own conscience for so long. So that is how they ended up being stuck in the downward spiral, right? This is the one that you are looking at. Okay. Now, from the downward spiral, when Celine reached out, she actually took the first step, right? And that is when she actually got to the upward spiral. Now, do you dare to take the first step? Okay, because it's not going to be easy when you are taking the first step. There are a lot of things to be done, and to go through all this, you actually will go through some pain. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to transform yourself with the pain, or is it worth it to be stuck for years and years until the wake up call hits? You decide for yourself. So after taking the first step, they are on the upward spiral. Okay, that is a new cycle that they want to be for themselves. After Brandon reprogrammed his beliefs, he started to rebuild himself as the man that he always wanted to be. Right? Brandon actually was able to play basketball again. He found himself, he worked on himself, his health, and his injury, and he was finally able to play basketball again. Right? He became a leader of his own sales division. And for Celine, she actually took the courage to quit the job that pay her 5 digits every month, right? And started her own online business selling slime. This is what she really, truly, truly loved doing, right? When I see her make slime, she really feels happiness and joy from the inside. Okay, instead of earning a paycheck of 5 figures, where she's giving her time away. And now both of them, they're happily married. Now, I want you to imagine, what if they didn't take charge of their own healing, right? Are they both ever going to know what will happen for them in their own relationship? Are they both ever going to know that this is the end, the happy ending that they will have? They'll miss out on so much, right? So can we learn from Brandon and Celine? Sometimes we have everything, but yet we are not able to find our life. We feel empty on the inside and we can't find ourselves. So yes, you have your money, you have every month you have 5 digits coming in, you have your career, a very nice sales career that you can tell people about, right? But do they mean anything if you don't know who you are on the inside? So I want you to know that it is not about chasing and accumulating more on the outside, like what Sharon shared earlier on the zombies, in the movie Train to Busan, right? They are actually chasing for lights, chasing for other things, for money, for material, for things that are on the outside, or accumulating more. It's not about that, right? It's about taking charge of your healing process, taking back control of your life, taking committed action to change, so that if you can live a lifestyle by your own design, you will be able to live your best every day with your loved ones. Now, coming to the last shift, okay? After you are able to transform yourself, transform your love, transform your mind through the mind advancement method, now you have to transform your learning through investment in yourself, through investment in mentoring. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Now, a lot of times, we have we have learned things that worked, that are taught to us by our parents, our schools, our teachers in school, and later, depending on the bosses that you have, right? The mentors that you meet in your life, okay? So they will be teaching us what can get us results in life. But are we able to apply it? Has it been working for us so far? Think about it for yourself. Whatever that you learn from your parents, your mentors, in your, or from your friends around you, are they working out for you in your life right now? Okay, because what Sean and I have discovered is that whenever we learn something from a coach or mentor, be it in sales, be it in mindset or in healing, it didn't matter much on the content wise. Okay, what was shocking was the results that we got when we applied the same concept when we learn from different teachers. Okay, the thing is, their frequency, intention, and philosophy would get to us. And that is when we execute the methods that they have taught us, we actually found very, very different results. And even for ourselves, day to day, we'll function so much differently compared to a teacher with different intentions. So, with this, you have to understand that to invest in a mentor, okay, which is a must because that is where someone will actually show you the blind spots that you haven't seen that led you into your own situation right now. And in order to invest, you need to find someone, okay, who actually help you to break out from your burnout cycle. Someone who actually understand your journey, okay? So it is who you learn from, not what you're gonna learn, right? And in this mentor, invest in someone who actually been through your journey. That's the first thing. They have to know the result. They have to get the result that you want. Okay? They have to know how to do it. They are willing and able to teach it. And this person, this mentor of yours actually cares for your happiness and your success. Your success not only in your work, but in your relationship, right? In your day-to-day life, even your relationship with yourself. Okay. So if not, you actually will spend a lot of time in your life, right now, through endless theories and techniques, and years after year, the same thing will happen again and again. If you're unable to solve the root of your problem, okay, it will happen again and again, and it will happen in the form of wake up calls, right? Remember what I told you about stage 3 and 4 earlier on. So if these mentors, they are not able to solve the root of your problem, they haven't been through what you've been through, then how are they going to lead you out of the maze that you are in right now? So it is about, healing and transforming isn't about resting up and then returning to the same cycle again. Okay, it is about growth, breakthrough, and transcendence, and this requires world-class support, guidance, and mentorship to ensure that you truly transform, right? So if you are trying this transformation without any expert guidance, is actually crazy. Okay, for me personally, I've invested 50,000 on training and mentoring. Each time is a big decision, right? So what I can tell you is don't do this alone anymore. Find the best mentor that is able to help you get out of your maze that you are right now, be it in your relationship or at work, right? Spend the time to actually unroot the root cause that has caused you to get to where you are right now. So today I actually promise that, you know, I will show you what it means to be a loving salesperson so you can heal from all the emotional burdens, frustration, and pain that you have accumulated and master your own emotions so that you're able to discover and reconnect yourself at your core. Live in true alignment to who you really are as a loving being in your sales career and in your personal life. So you can build and support a supportive and uplifting environment for your relationships, yourself, and your loved ones, okay? As well as your clients, okay? And what you need to win, earlier on we talked about the 4 shifts. It is to transform yourself, transform your love, transform your mind by using the secret weapon, mind advancement. Transform your learning by investing in the right mentor, okay? So these 4 shifts alone are enough to actually help you take control of your life. And with what we have shared with you earlier, you will experience total transformation and feel completely reborn, okay? So at this point in time, for those who are watching live right now, I want to let you know that you have a choice at this point in time. After all that I've shared with you, after all that Sean, myself, and Sharon we have shared with you, you have a choice actually at this point in time to decide that whether you want to do it on your own or you want to seek for professional help, right? To help you get out of the maze that you have right now, that you are in right now, right? You may be in a situation where you are in stages 3 or 4 and you don't know what to do, and you may think that nobody else is able to help you. These problems are what you have been experiencing, and you have tried so many things already. So if you are thinking about this right now, I want you to make a choice. Are you going to quietly suffer in this, or are you going to finally reach out and have a stand for yourself? Okay, so if you are ready to reach out and make a stand for yourself, this is how we can help you. So my team and I, we actually set some time aside in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can apply these ideas, the 4 shifts, to your situation starting today. Whatever you think your biggest problems are, we have actually seen it. We have actually spoke to many sales professionals that are stuck in the difficult situations that we have shared with you earlier, and we know exactly how to help you overcome them. Okay, so on this session, we'll work with you to craft a step-by-step game plan to help you eliminate your emotional burdens, discover who you really are on the inside, and help you regain control over your life. We'll give you a complete plan. Okay, so what is the cost? It's actually absolutely free. Okay, now no more trial and error. We'll give you a complete plan on how to get out of your current situation. Ask yourself, are you willing to take the first step? If we are able to do so much, go so much for you, to do a complete plan for you, all you have to do is actually to take the first step. Okay, so this is not for everyone, but if you qualify for these criteria, that you are working in sales for at least 3 years, okay, and you must be spiritually and self-improvement minded. Okay, you must be completely and absolutely coachable, decisive, and resourceful. You must have the willingness in you to change, heal, and transform. Okay, so if you qualify for all these criteria and this is you, and you want change, and you don't want to live another day living a day like a burnout, you want to actually take a stand for yourself and start the change from today. This is, you can actually, I'll put the link in the comments below later on for you to click to book a session with us. So why are we doing this? Okay, both Sean and I, we are actually sales professionals. We know what you're going through daily. So we went through burnout ourselves before. For myself, I felt stuck, and it's a terrible place to live. So the thing you must know that we own the key to helping you heal and transform, because we've been through exactly what you're going through right now. So if you want our help, we can discuss and see if it's a good fit. If it's not, we'll actually point you to the right direction, and that is fine. So for those of you who are on this training right now, you can see that you can head over to myadvancement.com/apply. And if you're watching this on replay, you can actually see the button pop up, right? So click on the button and head over to myadvancement.com/apply to actually book a call with us and speak with us today to talk about where you are right now, what is your current situation, and let us help you by giving you a plan to get out of the situation you're currently in, even if you are in stages 3 or 4. Okay, So the spaces are very limited. Now head over to myadvancement.com/apply to, you will be brought over to a page, click on the latest available slot, and you will fill up an easy form. Then within 24 hours, someone from my team will actually get in touch with you. Okay. So for those of you who are watching this, I'm going to share with you a quick story about myself and what happened for me before I reach out for, before I met Sean and Sharon and reach out for help, right? So what happened is, back then when I remember my relationship is falling apart, right? I know that within the next 3 to 6 months, if I don't do anything significant, my partner back then, she would break up with me. I know for sure. Okay. So I was in that situation that time. And every time when we meet, right, in the week, we'll meet about 2 to 3 times for dinner, and we'll meet over the weekend. Every single time after we go out, and I'll be back at my home and it's late night. If it's not, I will wait for my family to go to sleep or go to bed first before I actually take time for myself, sit down and think about the current situation that I'm in, right? Back then, I know that we have been quarreling a lot. I didn't, she didn't agree with me working in the company that I was in back then. And I didn't know what else to do, right? Because quitting was not an option for me, right? I have my own reasons. So we are always constantly on a fight and I don't know what to do, right? So I would wait for everyone to fall asleep. I'll wait for late night before I can actually sit down and think, what is the solution? But guess what? 3 to 6 months down the road, I didn't have any solution, right? And exactly 6 months later, she actually called off the relationship. She says that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with me anymore. And we were in the relationship together for 5 years. So for her, enough is enough. She actually walked out. And for me, I'm still stuck in the same job that I didn't like, but I couldn't quit because I didn't have the belief in me that I would become the entrepreneur that I want to be. Even after many years that I told her that, I will, in the next 1 year or in the next 6 months, I would quit my job and I will start my own business. But that day never came because I didn't believe in myself. I had so much fear. Every time when I want to execute my plan, I have so much fear. So if you are in any situation right now that you are fearful about and your relationship is on the line, I know exactly what you're going through. So don't wait, go on to myadvancement.com/apply and book a slot with us and we will speak very soon. So thank you. And that's it for me today. I will speak with you very soon. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop the stream.
Okay.
I'm going to close this meeting and stop recording.